What's going on, you guys? Slim back here with a new video for you guys, and today I have the next installment of my 2012 retro duels with Calvin the Kid. If you guys are new here, consider subscribing, hit that notification bell. You guys will be notified whenever I upload. You'll also be notified when I stream over on Twitch. Link is in the description. While you're down there in the description, consider joining my Discord server. We have a really awesome community there, and I always bring a lot of you guys into my streams over on Twitch. So if you ever want to join in on the conversations, be part of the podcast version that we have on stream, definitely consider joining that. If you want to build these decks yourself to play retro duels or just to buy cards in general, use my TCG player link. The link is in the description below. A portion of what you spend goes back to the channel. It helps me out and I really do appreciate it. And last but not least, if you want to further support me in the channel, consider becoming one of my Patreons. I have a new tier that will allow you to pick a video each month that I will upload, and yeah, it's really awesome. It helps me out, and everyone gets to just get involved with everything we're doing over here on the channel. With all that being said, you guys, your boy is piloting Dark World. Yeah, that Dark World, the old school Dark World, the Dark World that literally did not care. It just did everything it could. Dark World Turbo. These were the decks Calvin and I played in college. That's where this series comes from. We already know there's gonna be a ton of misplays because having to play a format that is almost 10 years old is impossible these days. Having to go back and play a format like that, it's not like GOAT format, it's not like those classic formats. This was just what we played in college, and it's crazy. It is the best of 7 series. I hope you guys enjoy it. Smash that like button if you do, and I'll definitely be back here with more retro duels for you guys. With all that being said, let's get into it. Alright, you guys, welcome to game 1. As you know, your boy is piloting Dark World, crazy turbo Dark World. It just tries to go through its whole deck, just tries to see its crazy cards like Mind Crush, Deck Dev, Card Destruction, and just overwhelm the opponent. You're going to see a lot of Torgai, you're going to see a lot of Grapha, you're going to see a lot of just old school stuff for those of you that remember Dark World. You know, Calvin and I played these decks in college, and as you can see, like, these games are pretty crazy. Like, literally, you know, Caius is actually crazy in this matchup because any cards that banish Grapha is a problem. Grapha is pretty much your whole game plan, and you just use all your monsters. You use your tour guides to go into rank 3s to try to bait out cards. You use Zenmains to help you stay in the game, and you know, you have to use cards like, as you see here, I use Leviathan. It gets eaten by Deep Prison, but it's fine. You know, he draws a very good Book of Moon, and you guys will see exactly what you're supposed to do. He is under Deck Dev, so I felt like I was in control, but the Book of Moon on my brow hurts a lot. I cannot bounce for Grapha. He's just going to run it over. Luckily, the card that he drew gets hit by the Deck Dev, and I'm able to come back and get a Grapha on board this turn. Again, I am under Reckless Greed, but this deck is all about turbo. You play triple Upstart, triple Reckless Greed. You have the Allure, you have the Card D, you have a lot of good cards. He draws a Lance. Lance doesn't really worry me at all, of course. I don't overextend, though. Obviously, I don't know what his back row is. The Deck Dev was already over, but watching the replay, I do see that he did have a Lance. I just didn't want to play into like a Torrential or a Bottomless when I didn't feel I needed to. And you see here, I just search for Snow. I get the field spell because now I can pop that back row, find out what it is. And, you know, I was just hoping, you know, the one card in hand isn't Gores. Like, Calvin, please don't have Gores. And guess what? Of course the kid has Gores. Like, of course he does. So Gores is actually a real problem in this matchup. When you have the field spell up, it does make Gores 3,000. The token, of course, is 3,000. And this token in defense is actually a real problem. I have a real hard time getting past it. I thought about using Heavy Storm, but then I was like, what's the point? You know, I was like, summon another Grapha, he bottomlesses it. You guys have to remember that back in this format, we didn't have access to a lot of good XYZs, so we didn't have cards that could out, you know, a 3,000 defense as easily, especially when you're playing cards that are mostly like rank 3 and I guess technically rank 8 based with the Graphas. It just wasn't something that really came up in this format, but as you guys can see, I do my best to turbo through the deck. I have double Grapha on board. It's just to have, you know, just extra bodies. You know, I'm like, all right, let's get into that defense monster. You know, we're in Reckless, so we're not able to draw cards, but it's fine. You know, I thought about, should I have used Drag Down to the Grave? I didn't, and of course the BLS does come after and get my Grapha. Looking back, I probably should have used it. I just would have had to set more cards. Now, you see, I'm still feeling fine, though, looking at the current situation. I'm just like, all right, Beige will come out. Beige can get to Grapha, and then that will allow me to crash all the monsters. The board is completely gone, but I have Monster Reborn, and Monster Reborn into a Dark World monster equals a bounce for Grapha, and that is what is amazing about this deck. He draws, sets a monster. I'm like, okay, we're hanging on. You know, I'm just like, I thought about, you know, doing more plays, but I was like, you know what, let's do this. Let's just attack with everything. You know, I deal 17 and I deal the 3,000, taking the first game, but it took 21 turns, you guys. When is the last time a Yu-Gi-Oh game took 21 turns? It's pretty crazy. Game 2, he summons Thunder King, sets his 2 back row. That's like Calvin's signature move. I kid you not. I've literally had to deal with Thunder King more times than I can count. Thunder King back in the day was just a real problem. It didn't matter what deck you were playing. You had to hope to Grapha pop it if you're playing Dark World. Like you couldn't search off Snow, and you'll see like in one of the later games that actually does come up. He MSTs one of my back rows. Mind Crush. A Mind Crush back in the day was able to look at the opponent's hand even if you called the card wrong, so that was huge. Unfortunately, I didn't get to double Mind Crush him, and he contacts into Chimera Tech. 3,000, it is pretty scary. I'm sitting on only 2 cards. I draw for my turn. Nothing really helps me. I draw a Reckless. It's not a great draw. You know, I'm going to get hit again. 4,300. I'm basically down, I believe, to 700 at this point. And, you know, he has the Book of Moon. He has, like, whatever he needs. You know, I'm just like, all right, let's see what Reckless can get me. It does get me the Dark Hole. That was pretty handy. And, you know, I try to bounce for Grapha. Torrential, unfortunately, you know, comes back. We've got the Drag down. You know, just trying to draw more cards. And what I'm trying to do is just turbo through as much of my deck as possible. Just retrospect, I probably should have just held my monster. But it wouldn't respect, I probably should have just held my monster. But it wouldn't have mattered anyway because he just attacks me regardless. So I just end up taking the damage. He would have banished with Chaos Sorcerer anyway. So the score is 1-1. We're going into game 3. As you guys can see, no monsters in this hand. Not a good hand at all. Like, this series, I really get algorithmed and draw a lot of crazy hands where it's just, you don't see a lot of monsters. Like, there's not a lot of monsters in this deck to begin with, but you don't really see like enough balance in hands. So it's pretty crazy how we do come back from some of these games. You know, I'm just trying to Reckless Greed, just trying to get into something. You guys can see I'm algorithmed. I've drawn all 3 Drag down to the graves. I'm not going to be able to do anything with that. I Upstart, another field spell, completely useless. Drag down again, just summon Snow. All I can do is attack. Like, I really don't have anything going for me at all. This is, like, so sad. Like, he just needs to summon a card. And, of course, Thunder King knocks out my Snow. Nothing I can do there. You know, I'm top decking. And, honestly, I'm not even top decking. I forgot I was under Reckless Greed. So, summons Tour Guide. He's free to do whatever he wants. He's got the Sangan. He goes into the Giga Brilliance. And, you know, he just buffs all his guys. I'm dealing with a buffed Thunder King, a buffed Giga Brilliant, and it's just kind of like, how do I, you know, come back from this? I'm not coming back from this. Reckless didn't get me anywhere, and we're just going to lose right here, and Calvin will be up 2-1. It's pretty crazy. I just didn't get anything on that game. Here we go into our next game. This is game 4. I do the standard Tour Guide play into the Zen mains. I don't really have a play, so that's what you do in this version of Dark World when you don't have a play. You just sit on the Zen mains and you're good to go. I Upstart, just trying to look for more cards again. Upstart was at 3. We play all the turbo cards in this deck. We're really just trying to filter through our deck as fast as possible. I Dark Hole. I was very surprised he had the Defect Veiler. Actually destroys my Zen mains as well. Luckily, though, I do have Snow, so Snow can help me search some cards. And I do have the Drag down for Grapha to pop the last back row, which was very beneficial. And I was able to get rid of the BLS, which was very good too. So just some standard stuff, get back into Grapha. I completely forgot to attack. Yeah, I literally forgot to attack. Like, this should have been on our blooper reel. Like, we have some blooper games that'll be coming eventually. Yeah, I completely forgot to attack. I could have dealt 3,000 there. I just think I had done so many plays for that one turn, I just straight up forgot. I literally forgot to attack. So it's like a miracle I'm even ahead in this game because, like, it was crazy. Like, I can't believe I forgot to attack. Like, it's actually crazy, like, how this ended up playing out. But I have double Grapha. I was very surprised he didn't just hard heavy storm me here. I was trying to think, what could he possibly have? But luckily, it wouldn't have mattered. I have the Reckless Greed. The two Reckless Greeds lets me draw 4 cards and skip only 2 draw phases, which is actually just insane. It makes this deck so unfair. Like, you have Upstarts, you have all these draw cards, and, like, literally nothing is really scaring me. Like, I have a feeling, I'm like, I wonder if that's D-Prison. I wonder if it's something that it's going to stop me. You know, I Allure, and, you know, I just do my thing. You know, I ditched a Snow there when I should have ditched another card, but it's fine. It's still got a Dark Engrave so that I could use the field spell and just attack with everything for game. We're tied 2-2. We're going into game 5 right now. Set 1, set 2. You know, I'm just like, I'm upstarting, a lot of spell cards. I'm like, okay, this is fine. I should be able to get somewhere with this. I ditched the Snow. Snow helps me get to Grapha. I got the Dark World dealings again, so that's important. The Grapha pops are very important. Popping back row is usually the name of the game. But I just didn't have, like, too much going on. There's the Heavy Storm right there. He's already got a Chaos Sorcerer and a Sangan, so I'm like, all right, I'm going to have my work cut out for me on the next turn. So I just draw. under Reckless, be like, all right, well, let's see what Tour Guide will get us. And we bounce back for Grapha, and we just try to battle phase. And he has the Book of Moon, so unfortunately the Grapha's going down. I just have to set a card and pass. And, he's just going to keep going. That Caius be getting me, man. He gets the Search Off Sanguine, and the Caius just banishes my Grapha. I take 1,000. He runs over my Tour Guide. And, I mean, we're pretty much kind of screwed at that point. And, yeah, we end up losing that game right there. So Calvin is up. He only needs to win one more. So this is game 6. I'm just like, I don't want to go out like this. I haven't had the best hands. Like, some of his cards are just very good against my deck naturally. Like, his banishing cards are very good against my deck. But, I'm like, all right, we know what we're doing with Dark World. Let's see what we can do. I love this deck so much. It was one of my most played decks back in the day. So I was like, let's just see what we can do. Of course, this is, again, an early incarnation of the deck. So, of course, my variants of the deck changed a lot throughout the time I played this. And this is the one game I actually resolved card destruction. Now, I'm so glad I actually got a game to resolve it, just so you guys could see how devastating card destruction was. Like, look at the advantage I have. Like, this is one of the few games I'll say that I just have a lot of advantage. Like, everything is coming up Dark World. Like, everything. Like, we have so much advantage. We actually pull off the Leviair play to bounce for Grapha, which was one of the old plays we used to do back in the day. And we just do everything we can to just run over the Zen mains. It pops a card, but that's no big deal. We deck dev him. We have like knowledge of what's being played. Chaos Sorcerer doesn't scare me. I just torrential. I'm not gonna let him banish my Grapha at all. And he's got the bottomless. I have the judgment though. Finally, I'm just like, no, like forget this. Like, you're under deck dev. I'm attacking with Grapha. Whatever happens, happens. He draws for turn. He gets BLS. BLS is BLS. Like, that card sticks to his hand. Like, I literally could not believe. I'm like, he's under deck dev. Of all cards, he literally has that. But I have a Dark Hole, so I'm fine. Just bring back Grapha. Grapha's forever in this deck and just keep attacking. And like, literally, his Resonator's gone. So all I have to do is summon a monster. And that's exactly what I do. Luckily, taking game 6, so we actually get to go to a finale once again in game 7, winner take all. And here we go, you guys, the final game. Calvin's going first. Very surprised. That's all he started with. My hand, I'm liking it. I got to the deck dev. I got the discards going, the Grapha pop in the back row. I always target the back row, like I said. I just didn't expect the Effect Veiler, but it is what it is. Set the deck dev and just got to do our thing. He tributes for Caius. Caius is my monster. Nothing I can do about that. I just get hit for 34 because I took the 1,000. Then, it's back to our turn, and we're just like, all right, well, we're just going to bounce for Grapha. Simple stuff. It's usually what you do. Set the Mind Crush. It's just important just to do that. I deck dev him, and I'm able to Mind Crush him as well, which is actually insane. Like, I wiped the whole hand with that combo, which was kind of the point of Dark World back in the day. It's just trying to just rip their whole hand, and that's basically what Dark World does. And now I'm just basically just going to keep attacking with Grapha. He draws a Dark Arm Dragon, can't summon it, so it just sits in his hand. Back to my turn. I've got Reckless, so I'm really getting up on advantage. Tour Guide into a Brow. Just attack with everything. Like, we know what's in hand. It's not a Gores, so, let's just attack with everything. He's left at 900. I make a Zen Mains to keep me safe, and I just pass back to him. And all he draws is a Mind Control, so you know what that means, you guys. Dark World did it. Dark World has won the series. Shout out to Calvin. This was amazing. Shout out to all the people that love Dark World. Thank you for riding with me all those years ago when I piloted this deck. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the games. I know there's a lot of misplays. You have to understand, playing these old formats is no joke, but I highly suggest you guys do it. But let me know what you guys think. If you guys want to see more retro duels, comment down below. Let me know the matches and formats you want to see, and we'll definitely do our best to bring that to you guys. But thank you guys for the continued support. Join all the links down in the description below. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.